What is it like to learn online with NEC? When you learn online with NEC, you're in charge. You can study when, where, and how you like, alongside your other commitments. You set your own study timetable. As an educational charity, our main aim is to support you throughout your course. Start by choosing the course you want to study, then enroll online or by phone. Our experienced and friendly course advice team are here to advise you. We offer flexible payment plans to help you spread the cost of your course. Your highly qualified personal tutor will guide and help you progress. We'll send you login details so you can start your course. Our Getting Started section will help you find your way along. Our high-quality learning materials are developed by experts who know what you need to learn and practice to succeed. You can access your course at any time. Share ideas with other students on the discussion forums. Study your course online in a way that suits you, or print resources and study offline. Courses have a clear structure with sections and topics. At the end of each section, you'll complete and submit an assignment to your tutor. Your tutor will give you valuable feedback to help you progress. Assignments give you essential practice in answering exam-type questions. We can mark non-examined assessment, such as coursework and practical science endorsements. When you've completed the course, you'll have achieved your goal and valuable skills as an independent learner. As your next step, talk to our course advice team if you have any questions. When you're ready, enroll online or by phone. Remember, NEC is here to help you achieve your goals.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the webinar. I am Joe Bell. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager here at the National Extension College. Thank you all for attending. This webinar is part of a series of online events that we have been delivering alongside our partners and other esteemed organisations. All our previous webinars are available to watch on our YouTube channel, so do feel free to browse after this particular session. But today we are co-presenting with the Classical Association, who we have shared a good relationship with for a number of years now. And we're delighted to be sharing a platform with them again today. Shortly, I'll be handing over to Grania Cassidy, Education Coordinator at the Classical Association, who'll be taking you through some of the potential careers and transferable skills a background in the classics can provide. Please say hi in the chat function, and we'll be taking a Q&A at the end of the session. So please add your questions and comments to the chat, and we'll try our best to answer them at the end. Before I hand over, I'm just going to give a very brief background on the National Extension College and who we are and what we do. So if you bear with me while I just get my slide up. So NEC was established in 1963 as a pilot for the Open University. Since then, we have seen many changes and been through many guises. Currently offer a range of online courses, including GCSEs, A-levels and professional skills courses. We're also a not-for-profit organisation, which means that everything that we do goes back into the development of the courses and the support that we can provide our students. Our mission is very simple. NEC seeks to widen learning opportunities for learners who want flexible delivery of excellent courses. The design and the delivery of our courses are key to what we do. We are an online distance learning provider, and we specialise in GCSEs and A-levels, including A-level classical civilization, of course. The course materials are available 24/7 from our online learning platform and have been specifically designed for self-study. These include interactive quizzes and videos that can help the learner. On your courses, our courses, you will also receive support from a qualified tutor. Your course tutor will provide detailed feedback on assignments and can be contacted through the portal to ask questions. On our platform, there is also student-led and tutor-led forums where you can discuss topics and engage with fellow students. I'm just going to play a very short video just to give you all a better understanding of our learning platform. Great. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what to expect from our learning platform. We also have a dedicated student support team on hand through the duration of your studies. And we also offer access to an in-house pastoral officer who can offer support to students who may require that additional support while you're with us. It is our students that are the heart of what we do, and when we see them succeed and move forward to higher education or that dream career, that is what drives us. A particular former student who has certainly experienced success is the comedian Russell Kane. He studied with NEC in the late 90s. After leaving school without A-levels, he enrolled with NEC to study A-level sociology. He studied for 2 hours every evening while living with his grandmother in their housing association flat and working full time. I will probably let Russell explain for himself.
That's the practical thing with National Extension College. They provided a way for me to learn after 5 p.m. at weekend, to do it flex around my crazy housing association, clubbing, selling watches life. It was the moment that started everything. That's the practical thing with National Extension College.
Russell is now working with us to provide a scholarship fund for free students to sit either their GCSEs or their A-levels with NEC, plus their exams. If anyone's interested or wants to find out more or apply for the scholarship, I would advise them to head to our website, nec.ac.uk/Russell Kane Scholarship, or to watch the full video of Russell speaking about his experiences and background with award-winning author Kit DeVal. You can just sort of head to our YouTube channel and you should be able to find the full video there. So without further ado, I will now hand over to Grania. So thank you.
A pleasure to be joining you today to talk about careers and transferable skills that you can gain from studying the classics. And I thought I'd start by just explaining who I am and what the Classical Association is. So, as Joe said, I'm Grania, Education Coordinator for the CA. And in a previous life, I was a classics teacher at a secondary school in London. The CA is one of the UK's largest classics charities and is the subject association for classics. We're a national organisation with local and international links, which promotes and advocates for the discipline and seeks to provide professional development as well as community opportunities. The CA is also a learner society, so we support academics as well as educators and students, and we seek to make classics engaging and accessible to the general public. There are essentially like 3 strands to what the CA does. Firstly, we support the discipline by funding other organisations in classical projects. Secondly, we advocate for classical subjects with policymakers, exam boards, and amongst other societies like the British Council and the British Academy. And thirdly, we bring the classics community together by hosting the biggest annual classics conference, and we bring people together via our branches network. So the aims of today's session are firstly to talk a little bit about studying classical civilization, both at A level and beyond, to consider the skills that a qualification in classics can equip you with, and then to look at the sorts of jobs classics graduates can go into. Spoiler alert, there are lots of jobs classics graduates are well suited to. So to get going then with what is classical civilization, what is classics? What do we study? As it says here, classics typically refers to the study of the ancient Mediterranean world. Traditionally, this has centred on the civilizations of Greece and Rome, but more recently, the study of classics has widened to reflect the diverse nature of these ancient civilizations, recognising that they encompassed lands and peoples from the Near East right the way through to the British Isles. Classics as a discipline allows you to study all manner of topics. Ancient languages, which doesn't just mean Latin and Greek, literature, history, politics, art, architecture, philosophy, science, society, culture and religion, and thus makes it so relevant for study today. As Peter Jones, an author and a classicist, pointed out, classical civilization includes interesting discussions that are directly relevant to today's world. As he says here, men grappled with exactly the same issues that we do: life, death, gods, sex, love, family, children, education, the nature of the world, and so on. All the really good, meaty stuff that we like talking about today. And with such a broad range of topics on offer to explore, students of classics acquire a broad range of skills too. I'll briefly mention here the A-level Classical Civilization course that NEC offers. In choosing this course, you'll get to read 2 texts that have been fundamental in shaping the way literature is written today: Virgil's Aeneid and Homer's Odyssey. Both of these are epic poems capturing the journeys of men escaping the Trojan War and the adventures that they went on to reach home. You'll also read a selection of Greek comedies and tragedies, as well as study the Greek gods, religion and ritual. But looking beyond A-level, classics opens the door to a wide range of degrees should university be something that you are thinking about. Traditionally, studying classics at university meant studying Greek and Latin, but that just isn't the case anymore. And what I'll show you now is a snapshot of 3 different universities and the wide range of classical degrees that are on offer. First, here we have some degree programs that are focusing solely on ancient history, or we have classics paired with comparative literature and English. Here we have a huge range of classical offerings, and this is just from one university. We've got classics paired with drama, classics paired with philosophy and modern languages, for example. And here, this third example, we have classics paired with Oriental studies, and we've got ancient history paired with archaeology or with modern history. And like I said, this is just 3 universities and their classical offerings. So you can imagine how many other iterations of degree programs are out there. To be clear, you absolutely do not need Latin or Greek to get onto those courses, and nor do you have to study them. So if your school doesn't currently offer anything classical, that isn't a barrier to you studying classics at university. More and more universities are now offering courses that are based on the ancient world and that will look at original source material in translation. Although if studying an ancient language is of interest to you, then the options are, of course, always there. But studying classics at A-level doesn't just mean that there are only classics degrees that are on offer to you. A classics qualification can set you up for any number of humanities degrees. And as such, it's a really good foundational subject that encompasses a broad range of subject areas. And additionally, the skills that you acquire will help you out in whichever field of study you choose. And these skills are not only valued in humanities subjects, but they're hugely valued in STEM degrees too. And these 2 subject areas shouldn't be pitted against one another, as they so often are. In fact, classics really complements the sciences. The origins of so many of these scientific subjects can be traced all the way back to the Greeks. And the close source analysis that you do as part of your classics qualification trains you to become a better analytical and critical thinker. So on that, let's move on now and have a think about the sorts of skills classical qualifications can equip you with. Classics is not a vocational subject, and by that I mean it doesn't train you up to do a particular job in the way that doctors must complete medical degrees, for example. Classics is a discipline, and thus you learn a wide range of skills, just a selection of which I've mentioned here. And these skills are much sought after in a wide range of occupations, and they really make you stand out. Classics feeds into the ever-changing landscape of Europe. We're living in a really fast-paced world, and we're watching the rise of technology automate out skills that were previously taught and learnt. But those skills, like these ones here, that you learn through arts and humanities degrees will never become redundant. There are few degrees that are directly applicable to so many of the new and exciting job opportunities that are out there. And so increasingly, employers are seeking graduates who are flexible, who are creative, open-minded, articulate. And these skills that you learn from studying, say, the 5th century BCE are indispensable in the 21st century. Classics graduates are critical thinkers, they are excellent communicators, they are adaptable, they are creative, they are open-minded. And it is these skills which employers are actively seeking out in their employees. As citizens, classics provides us with a deep understanding of factors that shape society. It provides us with a well-formed awareness of the viewpoints of others, and it provides us with an appreciation for a diverse range of cultural identities, skills that are fundamental to the successful running of forward-thinking and harmonious workplaces. And these are not the sorts of skills that will get automated out anytime soon. In fact, these sought-after skills have quite recently hit the headlines. Here we have 3 articles from the BBC, The Guardian, and The Times, all commenting that these soft skills taught as part of humanities degrees are what makes the difference in the modern digital era. And it is now essential that we know how to question the reliability of information, that it is essential that we are creative, that we can work in a team, that we can communicate clearly, and that we are able to adapt quickly. It's essential that we are able to take the initiative and to be able to work in uncertainty. Classics is founded on uncertainty. How can we really know what it was like to be an African woman enslaved in Roman London, or what it was like for young Spartan boys to get whisked off to the Agoge, which was the Spartan training school, at the tender age of 7? These are experiences that are unknown to us, and they aren't well documented. And so we can analyse the information that we have left, think creatively, and communicate our opinions thoughtfully and intelligently. So let's have a think then about the sorts of jobs classics graduates have. And as I mentioned, there are lots of different types of jobs that classics graduates have. I'm sure you will recognise both of these men. What do they have in common? It is a qualification in classics. And these two individuals have gone in very different directions. In fact, there are quite a few well-known figures who have studied classics either at school or university. Perhaps the most prevalent one at the moment in the news is the outgoing Prime Minister. What I'm going to share with you now is a short video from the CA. We asked a handful of classics graduates what they had studied, how it has helped them in their current careers, which are very varied, and why they think classics is still relevant for study today.
My name is Dr. May Musier.
Guy Alexander.
Sophie Amler.
Patrick Ardar-Walter.
Patrick Kidd.
My name is Xin Zhang. I am a partner at one of the largest real estate debt funds in Europe.
I am the Public Engagement Manager at the Bodleian Libraries.
We look to invest in businesses in Africa and South Asia in order to grow them responsibly.
I'm a relationship manager for a financial data and analytics firm.
I'm a master's student on a computer games development course.
I am the editor of the diary column on The Times. I'm one of the senior writers, and I've been there for about 20 years.
I studied modern and ancient history and then did a master's in ancient Greek history.
I did not come from a classical background.
I studied classical civilizations in a sixth form college in the state sector.
It was a chance visit to Greece when I was 18.
Studying it seemed such a wonderful way of staying immersed in these stories that I loved when I was a kid.
And when I came back from Greece, I decided to change my degree option from law to classical civilization.
I fell in love with the classics pretty much from my first lesson.
I was fortunate enough to be able to study Latin and ancient Greek at secondary school, where I took both for GCSE and A-level.
My parents told me that there was no point in studying classics.
I went on to study classics with French.
It's actually turned out to be something that's been much more relevant in my life than I ever thought it would be.
It was a fantastic 3-year degree.
What particularly grabbed me and what I focused on when I was at university was ancient art and archaeology.
Latin,
Ancient Greek.
how we come to use the vocabulary, the grammar and syntax that we do now.
History,
The Greco-Persian Wars.
Thucydides.
Herodotus,
Philosophy.
politics.
I write about politics, and I might think, well, what's going on here reminds me of what was going on in ancient Rome.
We studied Homeric texts,
The Iliad.
the Odyssey.
Sophocles.
The Aeneid.
Aristophanes.
Euripides.
There's just something about it feeling so relevant to us, so alive.
You can lose yourself completely in the subject.
It has influenced the careers that I've gone into.
It allows you to develop particular skill sets that I think are applicable in pretty much any job.
I wouldn't have gone on the path that I did without studying classics.
It's really helped me to be comfortable balancing very different types of source and evidence.
You're constantly learning how to piece together bits of evidence, how to think critically, how to work your way through puzzles.
It's taught me confidence in speaking and debate. It's taught me critical thinking. It's given me lifelong skills.
Transferable skills.
Classics really is the problem solver's art.
Classics has contributed to everything, whether it's professional or personal.
It is such a big influence on your life.
It's made me much more open to different viewpoints in the world.
It's given me a really great understanding of everything that makes up society.
There's a huge number of people I know who work in different sectors all around the world. And because it's such a niche subject and a niche area, we actually have maintained a really close bond over our lives.
It's a love, classics. I think that's the most important thing, that it's something that just makes your heart sing and gives you a reason to be alive.
My advice to somebody who is thinking about studying classics, I think, brilliant.
Do it.
It's a great decision.
You will enjoy it.
I certainly had the time of my life studying it.
When you're at school, how do you know what you want to study and who you want to be, what job you want to have?
You never know which path it will take you, and it will certainly open up a lot of paths.
I feel a classics degree does that as well as any physics or engineering or literature or English degree.
Some subjects can really narrow your course very early on, whereas something like classics keeps your options so broad and allows you to develop a love of so many different subjects within one.
In the ancient world, we find the keys and the building blocks to get us through the modern life.
You would be extremely employable at the end of your educational career.
What classics does is it teaches you the origins of so much of our life.
It's incredibly well regarded as a subject by employers.
I'm actually the head of graduation and intern recruitment.
I think it really sets candidates apart.
I see it very much as an asset.
It gives you a lot of expertise and a taste of a lot of different areas.
Even though you're dealing with something that's 2,000, 3,000 more years old.
It'll give your children all the skills they need to succeed in life.
Skills and perspectives which they can take into the workplace and they can take into life with them well beyond their study years.
The tools for surviving in the modern world.
And with it, something that sets them apart as being particularly interesting.
I would definitely encourage you to go and study classics.
Yeah, take the opportunity if you have it.
You'll never regret it.
Explained, the skills that you acquire can lead you down all manner of paths, as it has for them. And the employers that I have mentioned here are just a selection of those that have recently hired classics graduates into all different types of roles. So as I hope I've been able to show you, there are so many different types of jobs available to you. Some of these jobs are more closely linked to classical qualifications, such as teaching, museum work, academia, heritage, for example. But as you can see here and from the video, classics can take you down some unexpected paths too, and into areas of the workplace you might not have expected. But whichever path you end up on, you can guarantee that all roads lead back to Rome. Classics will stay with you for the rest of your life. You'll hear a reference to a myth and a song, the plot of a book or a TV series will seem familiar. You'll have just a deeper and more nuanced understanding of art, architecture, politics, religion and society. And finally, you'll get it when you hear the phrase, "This is history just repeating itself." So if you want qualifications that will not only offer intellectual stimulation and exploration, but also equip you with a broad array of skills, classics is the one for you. Now, before we go to Q&A, I'd just like to point out some of the support that the Classical Association offers to students. You can find much more of this on our website. We have a whole host of resources and activities and lots of information about other classics events happening that might be of interest to you. Feel free to give us a follow on any of the platforms that you might use. And if you would like any further advice or support, my email address is education@classicalassociation.org. So please don't hesitate to drop me a line. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Grania. That was really, really wonderful, a really inspiring presentation. And I think, particularly for anyone who's looking to, may have just had an inkling that they wanted to study classics, I think that's sort of the motivation for them to sort of dive in. Definitely that video, I think, as well. I mean, it really, really put into perspective the transferable skills background in classics can give, but also just the value of humanities in general, I think, which I think is something that we do forget, in education, that is a very valuable skill. And it's just amazing. And you pointed out yourself at the end, just amazing how many plays, films, TV, whatever, culture, philosophy, politics. It's just so heavily embedded within our society and in our culture, and maybe people don't know it yet, but if they would just sort of step into classics for just a little bit, they'll see all of that. So it really is, a pretty inspiring and interesting subject to get into if anybody's looking to do that. So thank you for that. We're going to take a Q&A now. So if anybody has any questions or comments, now is the time, please, just to put them into the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them. I think we have one here, someone called The Weirdos. By electing to take Classical Civilization A-Level and NEC, will it add a broader spectrum for personal statements to get into university for Classics BA?
Yeah, great question. Yes, is the answer to that. And I think it not only adds a broad spectrum for personal statements for Classics BA, but I think actually for any subject that you're applying to universities for, because as I sort of hope I made clear, it's the nuanced understanding that you'll gain from many different fields that will probably shine through in the way that you write that personal statement. And you'll really there'll be something about the Classical Civilization course that will really strike a chord with you, that you'll be able to sort of delve into and be able to sort of pull that out as not only a personal interest, but something that you're obviously wanting to go on and study further as part of your degree. And what is brilliant about classics degrees is that there is a huge amount of optionality available. You can sort of pick at any thread really, and you'll likely be able to find a course that fascinates you, and a module that is really your kind of thing. Certainly for me, when I did my Classics BA, it was Roman history that I was particularly interested in, and then I sort of went off on a bit of a tangent and did a course about ancient and medieval medicine, because it was a thing that came up and it was just really fascinating. But I think what you will be able to do really well in your personal statement is sort of showcase the broad range of topics that are of interest to you, the skills that you've got, and then probably be able to pick at a few of those as ones that are like particular topics for further exploration in whichever degree program that you choose. And I think that sort of nuanced understanding of what it is that you'll want to go on and study, or the particular topic areas, is what will be really interesting for prospective admissions tutors to be reading.
Great. I wonder if the Weirdos wanted to enlighten us a little bit further, if they're interested in taking a course with NEC, what sparked their interest. If you want to sort of add anything further, then please add that to the comments. But I think again, it's really interesting you're talking about sort of education as well, and particular courses. And one thing that I'm certainly becoming more and more aware of as I talk to our students is that once they step back into education, or they find a course that they enjoy, because they may not have enjoyed the subjects they studied at school, it just opens up just a whole new world for them, and they just start digging and digging and digging and delving and delving and delving, and then before they know it, they're on to studying ancient medicine, and they never knew that was something that even existed, or they were even interested in. So I think that's the wonderful thing, no matter what course that you're looking at. I think that's the important thing that we can take from this, really. Many people just sort of in the comments saying thank you. So I think you sort of covered everything really. A question here. So thank you for your talk. Would you recommend taking classics at university with another subject, or would it be equally as useful by itself?
Great question. And I think actually that kind of ties into what you just said, Joe, about this idea of doing something that is really of interest to you. Like I said, because it's not a vocational degree program, it does allow you to sort of go off and get the breadth. And if there's a number of different subject areas that are of interest to you, doing a combination course might be right for you, particularly if you are sort of quite unsure about what it is that you want to do once you graduate. And if you've got a second subject that you are really keen on, so, you know, I mean, classics pairs really, really well with essentially any humanities subjects that you want to try and pair it with, any of the arts and humanities it pairs with. So if you've got that idea of, you know, taking it with a modern language, philosophy, drama, history, music, all of those, then yes, I think if it's something that you think you could, if you're enjoying the combination that you're doing at A-level now as a combination, then do seek to continue that. And, you know, there's nothing to say that if you you can change degree programs. If you start one course and after a semester think, actually, do you know what, I just want to focus on one, there is the option for doing that. So it's not sort of be all and end all, much like in the way when you start A-level courses, you have that period of time to potentially, you know, alter one or two of your subjects. So I think if you like having the breadth, then combining it with something else is a good idea for you.
Definitely, I would agree with that, and I think that's one thing that's people forget about, is you know, it's not your final decision. You know, you can you know, see how it goes and sort of change after the semester. Certainly, I have another question here. How can I explain the skills gained from studying an A-level in classical civilization when applying for graduate programs post my degree?
Yeah, that's great. That's a really good question. I think something to think about might be looking at, so if there is a particular on the person or job or skills specification that graduate program might have, I would look at what the buzzwords are in that specification, or like the skill set that they ask for, and think about where you have applied that and where you have used that through your A-level in Class Civ. And then what you'll be able to do, so say, for example, they want like critical thinking, you can talk about how, like, well, close source analysis allows you to like look and think critically about, you know, the information that you're provided with. If it asks for like good communication skills, you can talk about how so much of when you are studying classics is about reasoning and argument and debate and being able to formulate your opinions articulately and carefully, and being considerate of your audience. If it's looking for somebody that has what other sorts of skill set will they ask for? People that are, I mean, the analysis stuff ties into what I said with like the source analysis work that you do. The idea of being like a logical thinker, again, that ties in so closely with, particularly when you study ancient languages. Latin and Greek are hugely formulaic languages. It's actually why a lot of linguists are very good at things like maths and music, because it is all about recognizing and following patterns. So I would say maybe pick 4 or 5 of the skills that they are asking for as part of that program application, and think about how you have used those and try to pull out examples of that. And maybe, you know, hopefully if you can sort of rewatch that video, that slide that I had with the 21st century skills, look at the ones that are what employers are currently asking for and demonstrate how it is that you have used those. And I think actually when you think about it, when you sort of cherry pick a few of them, I think you'll realize exactly where it is that you have been using them through your qualification. But I'm also happy to help out with that form. So if you did want to drop me an email, then I'm happy to talk to you about it further if that helps.
Great. Well, I think that hopefully answers Jane's question. Yes, just to make everybody aware as well, this will be available on demand on our YouTube channels immediately afterwards. So if you feel like you've missed anything, you can go back straight away. And you have Jane's answer. Thank you so much. That's so kind. So that's great. Perfect. We've got a happy customer. Okay. Unless there's anybody else that has any questions, I think I'll probably begin to wrap up the webinar. I think you've covered everything really. I think it's, again, I can't say it enough. I think it's been a really inspiring and motivating presentation. You know, I think particularly we just mentioned it, but people just forget, you know, how much influence the classics sort of a good background sort of has. And I think people just mainly sort of think about, you know, I don't know, the Iliad. Well, you know, the Iliad's great, actually. That's a good thing to think about. So anyway, yes, thank you very much. I will now look to end the webinar unless anybody has any further questions, so great. People will head over to the websites for more information as well. That's brilliant. So thank you, obviously, to the Classical Association, and thank you to Grania. That's just been an incredible presentation. I've highly enjoyed it, and it looks like many of the attendees have as well. So it just leaves me to thank you all for attending. If you like our free, any of our webinars like this webinar, you might want to head to our YouTube channel, look back, see what we've done before with our other partners, and also maybe head to our Eventbrite page to see if there's any upcoming webinars that might be of interest to you. So that's it. It just leaves me to say thank you once again, and wish you all farewell and see you soon, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.